You are listening to the Primitive Intelligence Podcast, episode 410. Is that a cheesecake in your pocket, or you just happy to see me? This is a Thanksgiving conspiracy. How about that? This episode is dropping the day before Thanksgiving, so I want to do something a little less serious, and this one really fits the bill. There's going to be some visual stuff to this, so if you want to see what I'm talking about, head over to primitiveintelligence.com and go check out the show notes, or if you're watching a video, you're going to see it on the screen. Also, before we get into the episode, I did launch 2 new t-shirts for Primitive Intelligence, and I'm basing them off of some of the episode art that I'm doing. I've got one called the Biotic logo tee and the Triangle tee. One based off of, obviously, episode 409 and one off of 408. Go check those out. If you want to support the podcast and looking for a new t-shirt, go check those out. Link is at primitiveintelligence.com. Without any further ado, though, episode 410 of the Primitive Intelligence Podcast starts now. I have learned that if you put the phrase conspiracy theory after pretty much anything, you can find something on it. This episode coming out the day before Thanksgiving, I just put Thanksgiving conspiracy theory because I want to do something based on Thanksgiving for it. And, well, Thanksgiving here in the U.S. And sure enough, I found something. And what I found was what's known as the Thanksgiving Cheesecake Conspiracy. And I thought, this has got to be insane. So I looked into it. And I was at work, so I only had a little bit of time, on break to kind of look into it. So let's first of all talk about Thanksgiving here in the United States. The first Thanksgiving feast was in 1621. It was between the Pilgrims and the Wampanoag, who were the indigenous people of the area around what is now what became Plymouth Rock in the United States. And it's widely believed to have it wasn't called Thanksgiving. It was more of a harvest festival. There was a good harvest. The Pilgrims were growing their own food with the help of the Wampanoag, and they got together and kind of had a festival. Now, I'm not going to get into the controversy surrounding what actually that looked like, because you know what, I wasn't there. History is written by the victors, so we don't know if that even actually happened or if it was just written that way. As far as that goes, you can choose 2 things. You can be offended by history, or you can learn from it. But we got to stop canceling it, right? We got to stop doing it. That's the biggest rant I'm going to get on right now. So let's stop canceling history and let's learn from it. Otherwise, we repeat it. So 1621, after that, there were other harvest festivals, I guess, or harvest feasts. And it wasn't until 1777 when Thanksgiving was first really kind of brought into the American Thanksgiving was really kind of brought into the public. And I think it happened in December of that year. And it was right after the Revolutionary War, 1777, and it was held in Thanksgiving was held in December of that year. And from there on up through the Civil War and into the 1940s, it was held on different days at different times of the year. It was called different things, National Prayer Day or Day of Humiliation and Thanksgiving. There was a lot of different names for it. And it wasn't until 1942 that what we know as Thanksgiving here in the United States was actually made official. So an amendment was passed that made the 4th Thursday, or the final Thursday of November, Thanksgiving Day. And it's been that way ever since. So the history of Thanksgiving is very spotty. It wasn't always the same day. It's not, we don't celebrate Thanksgiving on the day that the Pilgrims celebrated Thanksgiving or that first Harvest Fest or whatever it was. It's just, this is the day the government picked, Thanksgiving Day. There we go. So the controversy or the conspiracy about this is that is about cheesecake. Of all things, it's about cheesecake. And as I did the research, I found this group called the Cheesakers Society. What I saw that they state is that in that first Thanksgiving, the Pilgrims made cheesecake, and that there was it's been erased from history that they made and ate cheesecake. And they show, and I'll put these links in the show notes. So there's a lot of photos here. Where's this one? Okay, so this is called cargocollective.com, and it shows these photos of paintings of the first Thanksgiving. And there's in the pictures, there's things that look like cheesecake, like they're holding maybe that's a cheesecake. Is that cheesecake? They look like they're holding cheesecakes. This pie, that might be a cheesecake. It's just a cheesecake at the first Thanksgiving. Why would it be hidden? So there's a belief that pumpkin farmers or bakers of pumpkin pie, like they had a society and they tried to sweep cheesecake under the rug, tried to get rid of it. So they became the official dessert of Thanksgiving. And I'm thinking this is absolutely crazy. And like I said, I only had a little bit of time to actually research this on break. So I'm sitting in work and I'm thinking, could this even be possible? Could there be one group that actually absolutely erases something from history? And there are beliefs that hemp was illegalized in the United States because the cotton farmers saw it as a threat to their profits. So there's a possibility there, right? So I go back and I do a little more research, and I mean these pictures I found. So I'm sitting there and I think, well, could it even be possible? Could they even made cheesecake back in 1621? So I do a little research and I find out that cheesecake, the first rudimentary cheesecakes, were made by the Greeks in the 5th century. So yeah, it's possible cheesecake could have been made of some kind. So was it erased from Thanksgiving? So I kind of put it aside. I'm thinking about this for a little bit, and I go home, I get on a computer and I start looking, and I'm finding more references to this Cheesecake Conspiracy and more references to this Cheesecaker Society. But I can't find anything about the Cheesecaker Society until I find the smoking gun, as it were, and it's a video. And I'll put a link up to the video. And as it turns out, the Great Cheesecake Conspiracy is absolutely, positively what's really going on here. What happened with this Cheesecake Society, these cheesecakers, and was it a conspiracy? Was it a cover up? No, it was all an ad campaign by the Philadelphia Cream Cheese Company. It's an ad. So the video I saw was a very well done ad in a mockumentary style about this group called the Cheesecakers, who think that cheesecake is being swept under the rug by the pumpkin pie people. And it's nothing. But I mean, the artwork, yeah, you could look at some of this artwork and say these are very nondescript looking bowls of stuff that they have. And they do look a little bit like cheesecake, but it could be anything. I mean, if you've ever watched cartoons like Family Guy, they always look like they're eating the same food. It always looks like breakfast, like bacon and eggs. But it's just easy to draw. And whatever, I mean, it could be pudding for all we know. Or bread or something that's shown, a casserole that's shown in these paintings. But it's not. It's all an ad. And it's hysterical, actually. So it shows that. Oh, where was this one page? It was Frank. Oh, it can't be found. There it is. Frank and Giulia, Giulia, Giulia. Julia. I'm gonna say Julia. Frank and Julia. frankandjulia.com, and it's Philadelphia, the Cheesakers Society, and it's a link to this video on YouTube, and I'll put a link to this page that goes through this crazy mockumentary conspiracy about these cheesecake, this cheesecake conspiracy, and they went all out. I don't know when this was done. I think it was 2019 was when the ad was run, but they did full page newspaper ads in color. They rented those big square 3D looking billboards in Times Square. They went all out with this, and yeah, this looks like this is done in 2019. Excellently done. But it goes to show that if you find a little bit of information and you let your mind run with it, you can come up with a lot of explanations to what a conspiracy actually is. This one turns out to be nothing. It's just kind of fun. But it definitely shows that you need to think more when you're researching stuff. You actually need to, don't just trust the first source you see, especially on the internet. There's so much information out there, and you can find anything you want. Confirmational bias. You can, if you're looking for something, you will find something that confirms what you believe, just because you don't want to be wrong. So always look at more sources. Do more research. Find the truth. Have fun with it, because this one was just fun. And that's all there is to this one. Nice short one this week. The Cheesecake Conspiracy was an ad campaign done by Philadelphia cream cheese. Who is it? Kraft? Who makes Philadelphia cream cheese? Kraft. Yeah. So this is Kraft Philadelphia cream cheese is a huge ad campaign, and it was awesome. It kind of made trying to find something worth it, because it was so much fun. So that's going to do it for this one. I will see you in the next episode. Happy Thanksgiving, and think more. Now I want cheesecake.